let's try and make a bunny, a rustic bunny, to make him look a little like cement. But I'm going to be using leftover Easter egg garland as his head, or her head. And good morning. Hi. Hi. Say hi to Sammy, everybody. She's making an appearance. Good morning. And then I'm going to be using wire for the ears and plaster, drywall, spackling actually, to cover the body and give it that cement type feel. So I'm going to be using a cone, the Easter egg, and just wire for the ears. So let's get started. Just for, so we know, just for notation purposes, 6.9 by 2.9, or whatever you have on hand. You could probably make it out of cardboard too, but you need to fill in the cardboard so it's a little more sturdy. So I'm going to use a bamboo skewer to attach the egg to the cone. So let's do a starter hole here. And a starter hole here, and then we'll determine whether or not we like the placement of that. But meanwhile, I'm going to use a little piece of a toothpick to try it out before I commit to the... I think that's good. Okay. So this is probably too long, so I am just going to cut it. Let's try that. Now that it's nice and big, I'm going to flip it over so that the egg will be the one to get. So hold on to this while you're pushing it in so you don't lose your... There we go. That's kind of good. I want it to be looking up a little bit. It's not going to have a face, so it doesn't matter. And then the ears will be right up here. So for added protection and insurance, let's give it a little bit of glue. That never hurt anybody right there. A little extra glue right there. I can't tell you how many projects I've made with this Easter garland. This is my last egg. I've made cats and I've made mice, all of that. All right, let's make some ears. I've got armature wire too, but I think it's too thick, so I'm just going to use this one. And if I could figure out what gauge it is, I will put it in the description box. But it's pretty thick. So 16 gauge, I'm not quite sure. Okay. And let's shape the ears. So you're going to want to leave a little bit of space to be able to insert it. But I want to make it pretty whimsical. So let's see. Again, I'm just kind of gauging it. Insert laughter. All right, let's see if this will work. Bring back the bunny. Do I want it that big and crazy? I might. I don't hate it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bend it here. Hold it with a tool so I can twist it. Like that. And I'm just going to do that. Wait, let's see. I can't get it. There we go. Get it on camera. And then just finish twisting it with the tool. And you see that? Go a little further down. There we go. That's better. So now let's put it on here and see if we like it. I say the crazier the better. That's just my style. If you feel that it's too crazy for you, then make it a little smaller. I want it to be very whimsical. Very, very whimsical. And then I'm standing it up towards me to see if I like it. It's kind of like doesn't come out completely in the camera, but standing up. So let's make another one. So I'm going to take this one and have it as my template for the next one, but maybe the next one's going to be bent. So I did this. It's just a more or less always. That's my style, more or less. I am not about perfection, ever. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing again. We're just going to hold it, bend it down, take a flat tool, and switch hands. And while that's supposed to be holding, come on. Let's do it again. Hold it. It's giving me, it's always the second one, right? Sometimes things just don't cooperate, but guess what? We are in charge, not the tools. We're gonna do it again. And squeeze hard. And there we go. We got it now. We got it now. This is hard wire, so I win, wire, you lose. Belkis won, wire 0. And actually the wire won out twice, so we're gonna give it its props. Okay, there we go. I think that's pretty good. But maybe this one is going to be bent like that. And if I hate it, I will unbend it or undo it, or however it is that you say that. Oh yeah, me likey. Me likey. Let me put it sideways. Just see how big it becomes. Okay, so for the ears, I'm gonna have to cover it in something so that the spackling will attach. So what we're gonna use is masking tape. And we're just gonna cover the ear, go around the ear. Oh yes, do I like the bunny? I most certainly do. So this is the time where you can decide your placement, how is it looking, does it need anything else before I commit 100%. But I'm gonna commit. And then I'm gonna take it a step further, add a little glue. Again, never hurt nobody. Little extra insurance in there, it's going straight into the hole. I'm using the wood glue. You could probably use E6000 also, but this is what I had because I did a project yesterday with clay, and I usually use this kind of glue on my clay. So that's what I had next to me, and that's what I'm using. Okay, the bunny is coming together. You're gonna need spackling knives for this, so let me, okay, so you're gonna need spackling knives. I have a bunch. Why? Because when we teach classes, we need to have a lot, but you really don't need a lot, and they're plastic, they're not expensive. I've got good ones for when I do different kinds of paintings, but let's just get a couple of interesting sizes that'll help me. So big one, A little one to get in the nooks and crannies, and a metal one. I also have a little water on the side in case I need to soften anything. But how fun. How fun. This is a great project you could do with kids. So it starts off pink and it dries white, which lets you know it's done. So without even thinking about it, I'm going to try to do the ears first, only because the body will probably stand up. So you should let the ears dry with the glue that you put, but I have no attention span whatsoever, so I'm going to start right now. I might have to do it in 2 parts because the spackling's pretty heavy, so while it dries, let me put the bunny down. It's like if you're frosting cake, but in this case, I don't want it to be so perfect. When you're frosting a cake, you want the frosting to be nice and even. I don't care. I want it to resemble plaster. So the more strokes and things that you, texture that you add, you don't want to take it away. So we're not going for smooth and perfect. We're going for a stucco type finish. Job. Wish this was my real job. If you want this to be my real job, please like, subscribe, and do all that sort of stuff that YouTube wants us to do. Okay, so I wet my brush with a little bit of water, and you could always see, smooth it out. You can do that. Look how beautiful. You could smooth out all those ridges. Not too much. You want to keep some of the texture. Wet it again. Dry it off a little bit. I want my brush saturated. So it gives it a cement, spackling texture. Makes it look like stucco. I like it because it is technically. I'm just smoothing out a little bit of the parts that stand out. That are sticking up. Getting rid of the excess. I'm out. Dry your brush when you do this. So if you put too much water, it starts getting slimy and unmanageable. So just a little bit of water is good. Turn it around so I can see what I'm doing. I'm just cleaning it up there under the neck. Okay. And for those of you who do air dry clay, if you ever need to fill in a little tiny spot, you could also mix this in with your air dry clay in a little nook and cranny. I don't mean mix the two. I mean, if you have to cover up a spot that you miss with clay, you just stick it right in that nook and cranny and nobody will ever know. It plays well together. How do I know that? I've tried it. And the first painting that I made with spackling, it's at a friend's house. And there it is, doing very, very well. Okay. Okay, I think I am going to leave it alone at this point. It needs to dry a little bit before I can continue to handle it. Let me see if I can lift it up. And yes, I can, but the ears are wobbly, so it needs to dry. But you get the full effect there of what it's gonna look like. And obviously, when it dries, white is what makes it so pretty and cementy. Okay, let me see if I can lift up the camera a little bit more. There we go. And this is what we have so far. And we will come back after it dries and you'll see the change in colors. We'll finish the other side and then we'll determine what we're gonna do for the collar, or even if I am gonna do a collar. I don't know. This is what is special about the creative process. The piece will speak to you or it won't and you'll throw it into the garbage. Just kidding. We're gonna make it work. Okay, we'll see you back in no time. Blah, blah, blah. All right, hello everybody, and we're back. It's had at least 2 days to dry the front, but it looks great. You could still see all the textures, and I've added the glue. So now we're gonna go and do the back side and finish the ears, and we'll have our contemporary cement-esque style bunny. So where we left last time, we were using drywall, plaster, spackling, and I was just using my palette knife, my good palette knife, my plastic palette knife. If you don't have any palette knives, just go to Amazon or Michael's or anything like that and just buy yourself a cheap pack of plastic ones. But if you're going to really be doing some serious painting on a canvas, then I suggest these good ones. So they're not expensive. All right, so let's keep going. Let's keep layering. Okay guys, well, I am still waiting for this to dry. I filled in all my gaps. A couple of parts that needed a little more attention, like right here, had a little hole. And I've gone ahead and I've added a little nose. But I feel like I need something here, so I'm gonna try to make abstract flowers. I've done this before, so I should be able to achieve it. Haha. Again, sorry for the movement on the camera. I'm trying to get it a little closer. It's not going to be perfect flowers. It's going to be a little more abstract. So what I'm going to do is just take this thin palette knife and make almost like a petal. Just a little blob, basically. And I'm just going to put down like that. One petal. Control it a little bit. It's not hard to work with, just it takes a little 2 petals. So I smooth it here, so I only have that much on the palette knife so that I can squish it down. Two. Let's do this. I'll make a separate video on how you can make flowers and stuff like that abstract with this. Again, we're not going for perfect, we're going for a little abstract. And then a little center. And then you have a flower. So when you paint it, it'll make sense. So I either leave it like this. Oh, I have a little hole right there, a little crack right there. Fixed it. Or I can keep going with these all over, but I want this to have more of a contemporary, modern feel. And I don't think I'm even gonna add color to it. I like that monochromatic, cement-esque feel of it. So once it's 100% dry, that's the only problem with this. You have to take your time. You have to make sure that all your nooks and crannies are covered. I went all along the ears, made sure I had a couple of spots there that needed attention, and here and there, but pretty much it's what I was looking for. It's that texture, cement, very contemporary, very modern. So next time, when it's 100% dry, then we'll add a whole coat, that's my phone, a whole coat of Mod Podge to seal in all the glue, and maybe even add a coat of white paint just to give it another clean, crisp finish. So we'll come back when this dries. All right, and we're back, and it's another day, and it has had time to dry. Here's the little flower that I made the other day. Wait, let me go right here. And the little nose that I added. Wrong way, right there. So before I decide to paint it so that I can seal in all the plaster, I am going to use a coat of Mod Podge. And what that does is prevent all the little bits and pieces coming off. So just a quick coat of Mod Podge. And then she, or he, I guess it's a she because it has a flower. It could be a he. It is a spring thing. So I'm just going to work right out of the bottle. And I'm just going to apply a nice thick coat of Mod Podge. So now let's just see if there's any drips anywhere. Not that it matters, because you really can't tell because it's all cement-ish. I wanted to get that stucco feel, and it's pretty much stucco. All right, we will come back after it has had time to dry, and we'll add a little bit of paint, but I want to leave it very contemporary white, solid white, I think. We'll see. We'll see when it dries, if we keep it like this or we change it up a bit. Okay. Let's wait. Hi, and this is the finished product. I love her. I've decided it's a her. And what I love is all the texture that it has. I did not add any paint to it. I decided that the Mod Podge brought out a nice sheen, and I don't want to add any paint to it. Plus it sealed everything, so it's a perfect sealer. And it's just contemporary. What I set out to do, I think I achieved. So it's a fun project. Let us know if you give it a try. And happy Easter. Easter's coming. Happy spring. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. We have all sorts of things going on. All sorts of things going on. So stay focused, stay centered, stay creative, and happy, 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 happy.